Oh, Oswald Cobb. Remember him? What a guy. What a little bitch.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 15 of No Late Fees. Today, Leo V and myself are back again to talk about The Penguin Show.
Dude, I was late to the game on this. I don't think I started watching until I think the week the finale came out because I watched them all at once.
You did
Uh,
truck through it, though.
One day sat down and I was like, all right, here we go.
I like this show a lot. I think easily my favorite piece of media from the whole year, whether it's movies or TV shows. I loved The Gentleman. I loved Tulsa King season 2. I can't think of anything that's better than this. It's a villain origin story done right from top to bottom.
Agreed. They definitely spared no expense in painting the Penguin as a villain that you definitely want to watch out for. He is capable of just about anything.
I think this show was incredibly well written. It was incredibly well acted. The editing was good. The score was good. It's The Sopranos in a fantastical DC world. You know what I mean? Like if you like the fantastical aspect of like a comic book and then The Sopranos or Goodfellas or something, put them together and you get this. Going into it, to be honest, I was skeptical and I wasn't expecting much. I honestly thought if you asked me at the beginning of the year, I would have said Joker 2 would have stole the show and this show would have been an afterthought. But boy, was I fucking wrong because
Complete opposite.
Joker 2 is absolute dog shit. And I think this show is fucking TV gold, man. Simply said, it's TV gold in my opinion.
P.S. We're going into spoilers, so if you haven't seen
Yes.
any of the
Yes.
Penguin, this is your chance. Get out, go watch it, come back. Here's your timestamp. I feel like they focused so much of the mom aspect on the end that like I wanted there to be more like henchman, him building up an army. I wanted to see like him set up in the iceberg lounge and just like whapping his way, like ready to take over Gotham. And then the bat signal goes off. So like
But that's almost what we got. So in the beginning, it's the iceberg lounge is literally underwater because this movie takes place weeks after the conclusion of the Batman, the first movie. I think this show wasn't about him being in the iceberg lounge on the top of the penthouse, being the true kingpin of Gotham. This was the rise to that. Now we're going to be getting a season 2. Colin Farrell already said he has scenes in the Batman sequel. I was extremely nervous on how strong this show started off from the jump, dude. Like when he kills Falcone's son, Alberto, it's a complete emotional, irrational decision that he even fucking instantly regrets. He realizes he kills them like after he shoots him and he goes, fuck, and the title pops up. We get a perfect introduction to the type of character we're going to be following. And he's so unhinged, he's reckless, he's selfish. But I was nervous that they were going to start off incredibly strong, painting him as the villain of our story, because he is a villain, but he is also our main antagonist, like from the viewer's perspective. But dude, I think they stuck the landing. I was nervous that they were going to fuck up the ending and not stick it completely and do like a sympathetic villain twist, which Hollywood movies and shows they love to do nowadays. Make Magneto fucking completely evil. Make Penguin completely evil. Like I don't need to see another sympathetic villain. He's a villain. I want to see a ruthless, emotionless, fucking psychopath doing heinous acts and being the counter to our hero. And I feel
Right.
like that's what this show did. And it fucking landed the ending because the ending just shows how much of a scumbag he truly is.
Yeah, man, that ending, the whole last episode was really just a great eye opener to the lengths that he would go to get what he promised.
Throughout the show, we see the relationship he has with his mom. You think that's like the one shard of like serene that he has and the one humane relationship that he does have is the support from his mother and the support that he gives his mom because he's
Well,
loyal to her,
I
he
wouldn't
takes care
even
of her.
say it's really support from his mom because she's shit talking him the whole time. You're trash. You're not nothing. You're never
Yes,
gonna be. So like
she's
we're
she's she's somewhat abusive and we see that, but she's kind of being hard on her like that old school like Italian hard
well,
mom, but
and that's how
we find out why she's doing this because
correct.
he doesn't know. So all right, As a kid, you see him and his brothers are playing in the sewers, and he fucking leaves them there and kills them, and they drowned. He has every chance to go back and save them. He has every chance to come clean about it, to tell his mom about it. And we don't know throughout the whole show that his mom actually knows. And she literally at one point almost sets him up to get murdered.
Was gonna have him get driven home by, some guy who was like, "Oh, yeah, I'll take out your son for you, no big deal."
Yeah, and that's actually ironically enough the figure that he idolizes throughout the show, Rex Calbrisi. Ironically enough, is Selena Kyle's father in certain comics. But side note, Easter egg, he takes care of his mom. He is extremely loyal to her. We see that throughout the show. Sophia, our other kind of like the other villain to Oz, the counterpart to Oz. You have a chance. We'll jump into her more in a minute,
Yeah.
but you have a chance for Oz to come clean. She's literally torturing his mom, and he sticks to it, does not come clean, does not admit it, continues to lie. And it shows how much of a narcissistic piece of shit he really is. And that's how, in my opinion, they stuck the landing. His mom ends up, what, she like faints and has an aneurysm or something. Something goes wrong with her. And at the end, she's completely catatonic. He gets what he promised her. I'm going to be the kingpin of Gotham. We're going to have the penthouse. You're going to be having the penthouse sky view of the city, and we're going to have everything that we ever wanted. And that happens. But she's literally being psychologically fucking tortured because she's catatonic in a hospital bed, looking at the Gotham skyline from this penthouse. And he's like, "Mom, aren't you proud of me?" And all she does is give one tear, and he's like, "I know it's beautiful, right?" But she's being fucking psychologically tortured, and it shows how fucked up he is, and that's why I love the ending.
I would have rather them ended it on that than, yes, let me pay a hooker to wear my mom's dress so I can now sleep with my mom. Like, that didn't, for me, was the push over the line where it was like, not anything about sleep with moms, whatever, do what you want to do. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was like, okay, now I wanted there to be that ending of like, okay, let's get the crew together and like, here we go, we're gonna rise up, and then the bat signal comes on, and it's like, okay, cool, like that's gonna be our collision leading into the next movie.
So when you see at the very end, he's dancing. So he has like a hooker girlfriend throughout the entire show that he's kind of, I guess he's in love with, and she's a hooker. So she's paid to show him affection. She
Yeah.
obviously cares nothing for him. She even sells him out at one point to Sophia and gives away his location. But I got a nasty turn in my stomach when you see that dress that you see his mom wearing in all the flashbacks. She's wearing it, and then he's like role playing with her as his mom. That's gross. And I think that's what it was supposed to achieve. It made you have a stomach turn and feel like ill to see like what he's actually doing. And again, supports the fact that he is a fucking cold-hearted, stone cold villain.
The episodes did a really great job of anytime something good happened to him, something bad would
Oh
happen
yeah.
right around the corner. So in like that kind of aspect, I would have liked to see him do something impulsive and then have to then redirect and be like, okay, fuck, now I got to do this, and like spend a little bit more time on that where it didn't seem like, okay, now I'm being impulsive. Now to fix this impulse, I'm just gonna do this impulse, and well, two left impulses make a right impulse, and it's like, what?
Well, the show kind of starts off with an impulsive decision that he has to deal with for the rest of the series. He
Right,
he kills Carmine Falcone's son in the opening fucking scene, and then that's the friction that we get in the first like 3 to 4 episodes with Sophia Falcone is the death of her brother,
right.
and she's trying to figure out who did it. He's lying, saying that so and so is responsible for it, and inevitably you find out that the truth comes out. She finds out it was Oz, and you get one of those examples like you were mentioning that he'll do a couple things as a viewer that makes you root for him, but then he does something slimy and scumbaggish that makes you realize how much of a fucking piece of shit he is. The two characters that we spend the most time with is Oz and Sophia. And I think they are very similar, but they also bounce off each other perfectly in different directions. Their arcs are almost parallel.
Very.
They're very very similar. Like he starts off as her driver, and then we meet the character Victor, which is Oz's driver, and there's different parallels of like how he looks at Victor to how Sophia still kind of belittles him and talks down to him as he's slowly coming up during the series. Both of them have similar origins, one being born and bred in a mobster crime family, and the other one literally being the servant to the daughter of said crime family. And both of them commit unforgivable acts throughout the whole show. So she has a lot of bad things happen to her where she gets sent to Arkham on Oz's fucking shoulders because he basically rats her out to her dad. She gets betrayed by Carmine, and then she goes through a bunch of fucked up shit in Arkham and comes out, and she knows what she wants exactly, and she wants to take over the family and make it her own. And dude, she literally kills her whole fucking family, everyone but the little girl.
And I mean, to be honest with you, they had it coming. The
Yeah.
that
Oh
that
yeah, yeah,
fa-
yeah.
that family fucked her. They absolutely could have let her come out after 6 months and not given her the essential life sentence that they ended up giving her.
You have Sophia on that side, then you have Oz, who will manipulate, lie, cheat, and steal, hurt everyone that he's close with, and kill a lot of people just to inch himself closer to his goal of becoming the kingpin of Gotham. Both are scumbag villains. Both hurt a lot of people. Both killed a lot of people to achieve their goals. So it's almost like she's such a piece of shit, and at times he's not being as scummy as she is. But by the end, they just pull it right back and they show Oz for who he truly is, and I respected that conclusion.
The show really did a great job of letting you celebrate the characters' victories with them,
Yeah, yeah.
but then
Because
also turn around and be
because
like,
you did you
"Wait,
did
why
you
am
did
I
feel for
rooting
both
for
of
them?
them.
Why am I rooting like that's I can't root for you now. Like how you were doing so great, and now then you just you fucked it up and
Yeah,
did
but
that."
I
But
love that
like
they made throughout the show, you're rooting for Sophia, who murders her whole family, even though they are scumbags, just like you said. Fucking Oz, who's fucking over everyone he fucking is associated with, and we're rooting for him. Like, we want your drug business to succeed. Oh no, his stash got destroyed. You know what I mean? Like, you're rooting for him for such like heinous acts and shady ass things. But like that's why I like this villain origin story. It's obviously Oz's story, but also it's the Hangman story. And
right,
dude, I was going into this when I found out she was going to be the counterpart to Oz. I was kind of sour about it because her brother is Holiday from The Long Halloween,
correct.
arguably top 3 greatest Batman stories of all time.
Yeah.
Main villain in that whole fucking story. And they made Alberto dead opening scene. And then Sophia, the Hangman, who is not necessarily a huge part of the Batman villain lore, as like the main antagonist to Oz. But they
Speaking
fucking nailed it. They fucking nailed it though. So, like I said, wasn't expecting that, and they fucking did it.
this version of Gotham was done really well. We've talked about like Gotham in itself is a character. It has to be done right. It's got to be that dirty, gritty kind of city that a shithead like Cobblepot can come in and actually take over. It was nice to see that portrayed correctly.
I like how they showed one side of Gotham, like the skyscrapers and the lights on, and the kind of like more New York City version, like Manhattan version of Gotham. And then across the bay, you saw, what was it, Crown Point?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So they showed across the bay, they showed Crown Point, which didn't have electricity, was completely underwater. People
they
were
didn't even
homeless. It
they
was
didn't even try to
destroyed.
save it.
It's basically ground zero of Riddler's actions from the first movie, and it's just abandoned. There's no power, there's no food, there's no emergency services. It's just crime and people on the streets doing whatever they have to do to survive. But like you said, it really painted Gotham perfectly, and it showed Gotham as a character. And I think in any Batman story, I'll say this till the end of time, Gotham has to be well done, or I'm just not going to buy the whole story. If I see it and I can tell it's New York, or I can tell it's Los Angeles, or I can tell it's some like real existing city, it's just going to take me out of it. I want to see Gotham, and as a character, this show nailed Gotham. So the character of Victor, I thought throughout the show was going to be an annoyance. I thought he was just going to be like Victor's weak right hand man that he just kind of takes advantage of and pushes around and gets him to do whatever he wants to do. And in a sense, he does do that. But I think Victor grows as a character throughout the whole series, and I liked his character. I didn't think I was going to like him. I don't remember him being in any comic book story, so he's obviously new for this series specifically. But as far as before, when I said I was afraid they were gonna not stick the landing, it had to do with Victor. So we meet Victor in the beginning, and he almost kills him after he helps him get rid of Alberto Falcone's body. He's like, I got to kill you, and basically he begs for a chance to show that he could work for him, and he does for whatever reason give him a chance. But I thought at the end they were gonna let Victor live. That's what I was nervous about. That was one of the main things I was nervous about because he's been loyal to him the whole time. He cares about him even when he's not around. I always say this about someone, whether it's family or friends, you can tell people's true loyalty about what they say about that person when they're not around. When Victor's not with Oz, he's sticking up for Oz till the bitter end. You know what I mean? Like he's saying we got to go help him, we got to go save him. He could be in trouble, he could be hurt. And at the end, when they succeed their goal, and they're both sitting on this bench in front of the water. He says something about him being his family. I'm like, oh, you almost see Oz's head like turn at him. And at that point, in my opinion, Oz realized that Victor is a vulnerability of his, is a weakness of his, and he's committed to the mobster lifestyle, being the crime boss, being the kingpin, that he can't have any vulnerabilities and succeed in that life. And dude, he just strangles him. He's saying how you're a good kid. He loves him. He does.
Yeah.
I think he loves him like he would a son, but he knows that his commitment to being a mobster, he can't have that. You know what I mean?
Victor
And I thought they stuck the landing with that when they literally like you're like, "Oh my god, he's killing him. He's killing him." I didn't want to see it happen because I ended up liking Victor as a character, but also at the same time, I was happy he was doing it because that's what a villain should do. I didn't want a sympathetic villain, and at the end, he wasn't.
Victor was, in Penguin's eyes, a version of himself. Someone who was just looking for somebody to give him a chance to show what he can do.
Especially when
So
he ends up telling him, like, "I was Sophia's driver, like, you're mine." So another thing that he relates to him with that he's literally going through the same origin that Oz did.
correct. So for that to happen, and then he kills Victor, and then turns around and then takes all of the local gang number twos and turns them against their boss so that the little guy can have a shot. You just took out your own little guy who also could have been given a shot at something. So like
So
you
you're
could have at
you're
least
right.
given let the kid have a little bit more, or but like I do understand, yes, you kind of want to nip that vulnerability in the bud before anybody finds out about it, or sees how strong their bond is.
I think Oz realized when he started butting heads with Sophia that her one vulnerability was her brother, was her family. With Oz being able to see how much he was able to manipulate Sophia in the early parts of the series, I think he realized by the end that that's what Victor was to him. That's what his mom was to him. But by the end, his mom is now catatonic in the penthouse. No one thinks she's still alive. Victor was Alberto to Sophia, her vulnerability. Now he's erasing that one vulnerability. He's learning from other people's mistakes versus making that same mistake and potentially being killed by someone. Because in this lifestyle, he's any weaknesses, any vulnerabilities. What do people always say? I'm going to kill your family. I'm going to kill your wife or your daughter or your son or your mom, whatever.
Right.
As far as everyone is concerned, he has none of that.
And I will say there was a lot of great aspects where the fight with him and Sal in the underground tunnels before he died, that was a great fight.
Yeah, he
There
wants
were
to make sure he wants everyone to know that he is qualified in doing what he's doing, and he wants to gloat about it.
Yeah,
When Maroney dies, he's almost upset at first because he didn't literally kill him. He had a heart attack and died. And he's like, "I beat you. I beat you. I did this." Like he wants validation.
that's one of the reasons I think he doesn't let his mom die, is because
Absolutely,
even
100%.
even though she can't verbalize that validation, she gets to at least be witness to it
Yes,
in
yes.
whatever way he allows.
It's his manipulation tactics. It's his fucked up way of getting motivation from his mom. She's fucking dead, basically. She's fucking dead. Like, you're torturing her now.
But just think, she gets to hang out in this penthouse and get this great New Jersey skyline view because,
Yep.
according to Victor's ID that we saw at the end when Oz threw all of his money out, or stole his money and threw out his wallet, Gotham was in New Jersey. I've heard a bunch of stories that if Gotham and Metropolis were to
New
be
Jersey and New York.
yeah, in real life, it would be New Jersey, New York.
Another thing that was really fucked up is that in one scene, you see the mom basically say, "If I was ever a vegetable, pull the plug. Don't let me be like that."
Yep, he
And that
promised her.
and he promises her, and that happens. And for again his own motivation and self validation and selfishness, that happens. And he keeps her around in a fucking hospital bed just so he can keep his own validation. It's
He's a
fucked up, man.
piece of shit.
Dude, he's a scumbag.
But
I
now I
think
honestly wanna see more of him, so I'm looking
yes,
forward to
yes,
seeing where the next Batman movie goes, because if he's gonna be involved now, he's already got, somebody on, somebody in, like, the mayor's office or some sort of politician in his pocket now.
yeah.
So, he's making the right moves. Now it's just a matter of, can you survive the Batman?
The ending of the show wraps everything up perfectly. It's a great stinger. You see the catatonic mom. You see Oz in the penthouse looking out at the Gotham City skyline. It zooms out, bat signal. And this
Except
movie,
that's not how it ends. It actually ends with Oz and Eve, the prostitute, dancing in
yes,
the Lacrone building, and then the bat signal comes on.
yes, but you know what I mean. So the bat signal is the stinger. This show, I think, elevates the first movie. I went back and watched the Batman like a day or two after this series wrapped, and it made me look at Oz as a character differently, and it made me just it made it better, and I think that's what a good spin-off's supposed to do. And as long as Matt Reeves and the writers and this crew are behind the Batman sequels, and now we know Penguin season 2, give me all of it, man. If they're gonna have this kind of dedication, this kind of psychology, this kind of well-written characters and stories, I want all of it.
This is something that DC has been, I think, in desperate need of, and
Yes.
it's nice to see them actually getting it.
As a franchise, I think this is obviously the height of DC right now, and I'm excited for what it's gonna bring us, man. The end of the movie makes me excited for Penguin and Batman to inevitably cross paths again,
Yeah.
and I think we're all in for a treat if they keep it on this level.
DC, you actually did something well this time. Good on you.
We need it after Joker 2.
Right. I was gonna say you kind of gave us a bit of a letdown there, but
I recommend it. I
100%,
definitely
yeah,
yeah,
recommend it.
yeah. So we both recommend it. As long as they don't make season 2 of The Penguin a fucking musical, or for some reason Matt Reeves makes the Batman sequel a fucking musical, then I'm in for the long haul.
Lady Gaga shows up, starts to sing a musical number.
Oh my god. I don't know if they do an Arkham show and for some reason Lady Gaga's in there with Sophia. Oh, I'm gonna be very, very, very mad. But no, I don't think they'll do that.
Late
Oh,
Night at Arkham with Arsenio Hall. That was the Penguin. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on the channel. If you haven't done so already, like and subscribe, all that fun social media stuff. Find us on all the other fun ones: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I already said that. But on behalf of everyone here at Nerd Daddy Productions, catch you guys on the next one.
later.